Is it recording pending? Hold on, you're being recorded. Okay, you're being recorded.
Cool.
Sweet. All right, now I'll be sure to get every detail and I can reference back.
Okay, so I think what we're trying to get from you, Greg, is essentially a quote for this dashboard idea. I talked to the supervisors, and they helped me create this concept. What they're really looking for is a dashboard with all of their machines in one location, so that they just have to go to it and they can see the status of their machines. So the idea is like that you would be able to see all of the machines in the little boxes and with the machine names. So in this picture, it's ML1, ML2, ML3. Those are the machine names.
Are you only at 3 machines, or are there 10 of these machines? And you're just showing 3?
I'm only showing 3. It depends on the department. In like tapping, for example, there's I think like 40 machines.
Oh wow!
So okay. I don't know if there's.
I'm trying to get a picture of. Because it's really, really easy to make a visualization, a dashboard so busy that it becomes functionally useless.
Well, there might be a filtering service that we can think of. Hey, Steve, how many formers do we have?
A lot.
There's like 15?
There's 11 in Richmond alone.
There's 11 formers in Richmond alone. Okay, but I'm just talking here.
Well, for example, you see where you're doing bar charts and line charts?
Yeah.
Splunk has a capability called the Spark line, and they didn't invent it, but they're one of the early adopters of the idea of a Spark line. But in essence, it's a little...
Oh, Greg, I think you've cut out.
Graph. So I could present like 100 Spark lines, and then a person could click on that and say, well, that line... and the shape of that line is disturbing to me. I want to see what's going on there. But there are ways to present a short summary view, and then you click on it, and then you get this page with the ML and all this other stuff, right?
Well, I think it would be more like this page with the MLs, and then if you see something disturbing, so that's kind of the concept that I'm looking at right now. So we want to be able to see machines. I don't know if we could put like a filtering capability in there, so if there's 15...
It's very easy to do, yeah. That you could put a text box up where they type plain text in there. Like if they typed just a 1, it would show anything that had a 1 in the name, or if they put a 12, and that's really easy to do. Because like you said, if you got 40 of them up there, it's a little... And maybe there are some guys that like that, because I don't like to scroll. Basically, my basic UI... preference is that I should be able to see everything on at most 2 pages of screen. Anything longer than that, I think it's probably too busy and people aren't going to look at it. Preferably 1 page. And the way you do that is you drill down, right? You present a summary, and then they click into it and get more detail on that thing. So I'm glad you say you like that, because I think that's the right way to go.
Yeah, that or one of the engineers that I'm sitting next to right now, he had an idea. Maybe we can use like the plant layout. Like if you're looking at a bird's eye view, then you just of a certain department, then you have the machines kind of in a layout like that. And if you need to see more specifics, then you can just click on that machine.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really, really fun UI mechanism, and it is doable in Splunk. So if you can get me a JPEG or PNG, whatever, to start with, and then say, this section here, I need one to use as my overlay for what you're clicking into.
Oh, yeah. I can
you
get
then
that.
Mark it up a little bit. We can probably work with that. That's kind of a fun way to do it.
I think what we're going to do first is the deflection department, where these ML machines are included. So I believe we have something like 17 machines in it. So I could sketch out the layout for you, and it would just be like a simple box format, like how the machine is kind of like all put together in one box there. So, what are you doing, Mister? What is that?
This is the software that it's developed here near us, and they basically do a lot of the graphing that we're talking about. Maybe there's some ideas to be taken from them. Like, for example, this top 5 losses. I really like this one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and you see the spark line there? That's in essence a spark line, right? The thing on the right.
That thing? Okay.
Yeah, it's really small and it's in line with text. In essence, it's a graphical icon that can be more or less treated as text. So instead of having it on a visualization page, you can actually have it on the stats page in a table with a bunch of other values and text. It's pretty slick.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that.
I do like starting with a factory kind of overview, and then maybe being able to click on a couple different machines and being able to compare them and drilling down deeper into them. Like, one of our companies in somewhere Alabama is looking at one of these systems.
Yeah, I like that because it kind of pulls the layout. I think that it might be too much to show all of that plant layout, but like in my head, I'm visualizing like a when you go to a restaurant and they have like a seating chart. I kind of see it being like that, where it's just a rectangle for like a general idea for where the machines are relative to each other. It doesn't have to be too crazy.
That's kind of what I was seeing on that thing, where you basically have a green or a red indicator, or maybe yellow, like medium criticality, and then you click on like this, something's wrong here or getting wrong in there.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, let me talk about this picture a little bit more. So, Meter, can you zoom in on the ML1 box? I don't know if you're able to zoom in. Yeah. So on this box, there's a couple different things that the supervisors really wanted to put in. They want to have an option to type in the part number and the work order, the operators type in the part number, work order, so that they're able to see what's currently running on the machines. So I don't know if that's gonna be something possible to do.
So is the part number? So I'm not sure if we have more data in now than we did the last time I looked at it. But is the part number and the work order number in the data stream that's coming off the machine? As I recall, Chris, that was an optional thing that most people weren't typing in when they started their run.
Yeah, no, it's not in there. We don't have currently. We don't have a way to do that. I don't know that Splunk will be the way to do it for input. It almost seems like we could take advantage of either the Fuber that we have, the other system, or the HMI at the machines and get that data over to Splunk.
Oh yeah, you could just pull it from Fuber.
Didn't you have a database that you could correlate now the time that you're talking about in another database and say at this time what job was running? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, we can. It's going to take a little bit of work, but especially for the machines that we're creating dependencies on other systems, and we kind of have to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, give me I need to take a 1 minute break here.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I thought the operators were able to type in the screen for like when they set up the machine, they type in what they're running so that it pulls like a preset recipe.
Yeah, they can. Just like they're doing at informing, they can type in whatever steel and everything.
So can we pull that, or does Kurt need to make like a little?
He needs to make an input for that, and we can't. There's no guarantee that that's going to be accurate. That they're going to be actually.
Well, then that's for the supervisors to keep them accountable for it. If they see that something's running and they go over to the machine and they're like, this isn't supposed to be running, and then the operators are like, oh, well, I'm not running that, I'm running this. Well, then they can say, you didn't set it up right then.
Correct.
So, yeah. Yeah, if they're already typing in like a preset, so we just try to pull that from the Is that the HMI that you're talking about?
Yeah. I think they're selecting a recipe. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't add some more input in there.
Mm-hmm.
They just introduced there's 200 people on the last week that even go 20. That's true. Actually, yeah. People in there. I was not there. I was. I wasn't on the fire. I wasn't on the fire. So, I don't have an anniversary. So, so is that of it for copy of that very close late tonight and a Sunday close? That was just that's supposed to go. About all those students done. So I think it's something that we kind of out there. I just don't know why we that's a yeah, but
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience.
That's all right. So we talked about how the operators, when they come to the machine and they have to do a setup, essentially they type in the part number, and I'm pretty sure they type in a work order. They might not, but it wouldn't be a big deal for our coders to make that an input on that side. So there might be something that you can pull from that to get that information.
Now, the part number that's on there, so if I have a machine, so I'm at the machine screen, and I type in a part number, you would expect it to then search backwards in time and find the last time it ran that part number. Or a work order. So this is, in essence, a shorthand way to say, find out what the time frame should be for the data we're going to pull off that machine. Right? You basically say, that part number ran from Saturday at 8 a.m. to Sunday at 4 p.m. And then that's that time frame for that job and then be what we're showing on the graphical parts, right?
Not necessarily. So we want it to be more real time. What's currently running?
Yeah, I think you guys are talking about two different things. So yes, I mean in the future, searching by part number and comparing different runs for the same part number, yes. But this screen, what Allison is talking about, is kind of capturing what is currently running. And
so the part number is not the operator types that in. The part number is displaying to you the part number that's running right now on that machine.
Exactly. This tool is for the supervisors.
I thought you said type it in. The operator types it in.
that's how we
You were talking about the equipment, not this dashboard. My bad. Okay,
So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the part number, let's assume that all the data that we need is going to either be from a lookup or it's going to come in the streams. And if it, the data is going to be missing. We can't guarantee that every machine is going to have a part number input, and if it doesn't, well, it doesn't.
Got it.
Kind of
My
like
concern
the
was,
goal.
I thought it was a data input, but it's an output. It's a visualization output. Okay.
And kind of like the goal on the bar charts there, the goal, that's going to have to come from a lookup. I don't know where that stuff would be stored.
Yeah, it probably would be either by manager or part number type, right? Like certain managers say, I want all of my production runs to be at this efficiency. But yeah, it would have to be a lookup somewhere, and that's pretty trivial, right? It's not like you guys build a million different parts or have 1,000 different managers. But that's something you'd have to create. You'd have to sit down with your managers and create those numbers. And when you give them to me, I'll put them in a lookup and boom, we'll be done. That's easy. The hard part is manufacturing what those numbers should be.
I'm not understanding.
Like if the goal one, that's just a static lookup. You guys have said, hey, for this particular part number,
oh yeah.
our efficiency should be this, right? And you supply that to me, and then I just reference it. Whether it's in a database or a Splunk lookup, or I don't really care. You can send it to me, written on a napkin, and I'll type it in. But I can't generate that. You guys are gonna have to tell me that.
Yeah, that's fine. We can give that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when the operators start their job, they type in a part number at their machine, and we're saying that you would, essentially just query for that part number, and then plop it in there. And then same thing for item number 2, the PPM in the top right corner. That's the parts per minute that the machine is currently running at.
Yep.
So they're interested in seeing that. The other option,
what's the JDE? I understand PPM, but what's the JDE?
So the JDE is going to be the pieces per minute expected per our ERP system. So that's going to be a lookup based on the part number.
Oh, so PPM is what's actually happening, and JDE is what you would like it to be.
Yes, and PPM, it's either going to be, it depends. We might be sending counts, we might be streaming to you counts every minute, and then you calculate what the PPM is.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
that part's cake. We've already looked at some of that stuff before.
Yep.
Yeah, that's easy.
All right, Meetzer, will you scroll over to the right so you can see all of the number 3 items? Okay, so number 3 shows kind of like a toggle thing that the supervisors really wanted to see. So, depending on what the graphs are, I think in ML1 it showed the OE or OA graph, which is just your percentage of your uptime. And then they want to be able to just have a toggle button where they can say per shift and it splits it up into the 2 shifts. Or they click today and then it shows them the today thing, the weekly, monthly, yearly. And then maybe a past hour or something. So it'll show them the graph based off of that preset button.
Okay, so when you say toggle, that I'm picturing radio buttons where only one of them is in effect at a time. So when you click on the one that says today, whatever the other button was that was selected would go.
Yeah, the today, weekly, monthly, yearly options would be radio buttons, but the per shift could be a toggle with that radio button. So you can do per shift for today, per shift weekly. Maybe you don't want the per shift on anymore, but you still want to see the total.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you've drawn it right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So hold on. Let me try and take this in. So, okay, you see the explain how these, so I see 3 sets of radio buttons. Explain how they would track together.
I'm seeing 2 sets of radio, I don't know. So if I were to, or Meetzer, can you go back up to the ML thing? Yeah, so you see how there's two bar graphs.
Yep.
If I have per shift on, then those two bar graphs are showing as shift 1 and shift 2. If I take per shift off, and it's for today, then it's today's bar graph with only like just total. But I can toggle per shift on or off so that it splits it into the two separate shifts.
So okay, I got you. So the per shift changes it from if it's off, it's 1, and both shifts merge together.
Yes.
If it's checkmarked, it's two fill bars, with one is shift 1 and one is shift 2. Totally get it. And then the other radio button is how far back you're looking at on that one screen.
Yes. So today, I think hourly was an option, weekly, monthly, and then that just determines like your scope of the data that you're looking at to calculate that value.
Right. So when you say hourly, you mean last hour.
Last
right?
hour, yeah.
Today is this day, and weekly is this week, and monthly is this month.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Totally get it. And I'm glad we're doing this because I definitely wouldn't have gotten the shift thing without you explaining it.
Oh yeah. So then if they click on their OA, so maybe they're in today, and they're at the per shift, and they click on that shift 2 OA, then the arrow there at the top of the screen kind of shows it opening up, where you can see the per shift today, and then you can have your different graph type. So this graph type on the top left is showing the downtime reason. So it's like a Pareto of all the reasons, and you have per shift on, you have it today, and it's kind of showing you that. Does that one make sense?
It does, except that if I'm thinking of the same data we were working with last time, it was very easy to see downtime, but where would I get a reason? Where's I don't remember that anywhere.
Yeah, no, you don't. The first thing we want to do is if there's a hard fault that the machine throws when it stops, I can give you that in the data set. Before some of the machines that are more intelligent, before the operator starts them back up, he is supposed to pick a downtime reason at the machine.
That rocks. That would be easy to exploit.
Yeah.
I do have some issues with that because, say, the timing of it, if the operator picks a downtime reason after he's restarted the machine, then how do you know which downtime occurrence to correlate that downtime reason to?
Well, it would be the previous downtime, right? When he starts it up, so it went down for whatever reason. When he starts it up, the downtime should be off shift or broken widget or Joe died.
I cannot guarantee you that he can probably start the machine up before selecting a downtime reason, or he might not select the downtime reason at all. That's one of my issues.
So if you ever have a downtime reason event, it should apply to the immediate previous downtime thing. I don't see any other way to implement it, right? I mean, you just have to train your people, hey, if you're going to put a downtime in, you better put it in before the next downtime, which means you better put it in right when you start it.
Well, I know that Kurt has it right now where if the machine goes down and they don't at least click something, then the machine won't start back up.
I can't make that assumption on all the machines.
Right, you can't make the assumption on all the machines. So maybe you just have it where, like, if it starts up, then you store the reason in like unknown or something.
Oh yeah, I can totally do that. In fact, I think we were doing something like that already.
Yeah, because then people are just gonna then when the supervisors look at it, they're gonna be like, oh, 100 like the top 80% of my downtime reasons are unknown. What the heck?
Yeah, he can go in and find out who was running that job and go spank him.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I think as long as you make that like apparent, then the supervisors, if they're actually looking at this data, they should be able to use it to ask those questions.
Yeah, so as long as we can get some sample events in where I can see what what it looks like when they do enter that, right? It should be no problem to use it, and then also put in unknown padding for the downtime that doesn't have one. Okay, I get that and how it's going to work. Cool.
Okay. So one of the other ones that we want to look at is PPM. So on the right of the graph that we were just looking at, it has per shift on. It has today, and it's showing you over the entire day, and then the graph is like a line graph for per hour. So per hour, what is your average PPM?
Yep.
Basically, pieces per minute. And then, like, if you were to click hourly, it would show you the last hour, and then you would be able to see per minute. So it's just a scoping.
Yeah, that's totally doable. What's the ODT reason thing?
DT reason? That's downtime reason. That's the one that we just talked about. So
It's
a
it
radio
looks
button.
Different. I got it. I thought it said ODT.
Yeah, sorry.
Not radio button DT, and I was confused. But
yeah, it looks like that. Okay, so then the one below it is this one is, I think this one's going to be the most valuable. So this is similar to the PPM one. It's your percent OA. So it correlates directly back to the bar graph with the goal. So it's your per shift today, and then it's showing you, if you have today click, it's microscoping to per hour, and it's showing you your percent uptime basically per hour and in accordance to the goal. And then similar with the per shift, if you untoggle it, then it won't split it up per shifts. It'll just show you.
So
like
this is it using the efficiency goal from the first panel, or is it using a straight 90% line here?
It should be showing you just like a straight line for the goal. So like I think we usually say 80% is like good for us, or 90% or whatever, you know.
Okay, so here's my problem here. I'm such a goober. If I look at we see three panels here. If I look at the panel on the upper right, I can see that that's a percent. When I looked at it on the lower left, I thought that was a 90.
Yeah.
So I see that that's now a percent, not a 90.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The 90 was throwing me off. Okay, man, am I glad we're doing this.
Yeah, sorry. My handwriting is not the greatest when I'm
it's just, now that I get these three are the same thing and each radio button is pushed differently, it's much more clear.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I have a note there that says if per week, then the x-axis shows per day. Yeah, so it's just a scoping. So if you click per week, then you'll see the x-axis kind of showing per day. If you click per month, then maybe it'll show per week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get it.
Yep, totally get it.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So yeah, we want it to be where the supervisors can look at all of their machines and they see their OA, and they can toggle it at like a macro level if they want per shift, whatever. Then they can click those graphs and it opens up the options to either show the downtime reason, the PPM graph, or the OA. And then they can like go from there and pick which ones they want to see.
Yeah, when I first saw this, it was a bit much for me to digest, but now that you've explained it, I can completely see it as a functional system, and it makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely doable.
The other thing, Meetzer, do you have a thing of Fuber open?
Hold on.
The other thing that the guys wanted to see, and I don't know if we should do this. They really want to see it, and maybe if they do it, then we take the capability out of Fuber. I'm not sure because it could be duplicating, I guess. It's just like two systems doing the same thing. Go to the operator screen. They wanted to kind of look something similar to this. How the machines are laid out, except we're talking about laying them out in like a location.
Wow. Have you guys had an ITSI demo yet?
No, I haven't.
This looks shockingly like ITSI.
What's an ITSI?
I'm going to send you guys a link after this. ITSI is an add-on, a paid add-on on top of Splunk Enterprise. It's a key performance indicator visualization. It comes with two things that are basically not provided easily with Splunk. One is called the service status layout, which is this thing, and the other one is glass tables. But the bottom line is keep this picture in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and proceed with what you asked for, which is a quote to build it on conventional Splunk. And keep in mind, I'm not going to make any money if you guys buy ITSI. I'm just giving it to you as an option. I'm asking you to take a look at it. Watch a 15-minute video to see what it is. And then if you say, hey, we want to explore ITSI more, let's hold off on building this because we want to go that direction. But it's not. It's a premium app in essence that Splunk provides. So looking at this screen, it just screams ITSI. So within sometime today, I will send you guys a link. Take a look at that link. Yeah, you can look at it here. You can dig it out for yourself. Look at that one screen, that second one. Yeah. That looks very much like what you were just showing me, right?
Yeah, like we want the colors. Kind of that was the point that I was going to make, is that the guys want to be able to just see all of the machines and see the colors, whether or not they're running, not running.
So they have their own way of visualizing drill down. And it's built for more for troubleshooting, but it has what they call swim lanes, which is side-by-side views. And typically these swim lanes are different hosts. But in your case, they could be different shifts where you would see the data side by side. So as you're looking at the swim lane stuff, don't picture individual hosts or individual metrics. Picture your individual shifts showing each other side by side. But you might consider talking to your sales guy about a POC. And if you do it, have him call me to do the implementation of the POC. But or an on-site demo, but really take a look at ITSI. It's really starting to look like half of what you're asking for. We can totally build it outside of this, but maybe you want to make a commitment to Splunk and do it this way, because if you do it this way, there's a lot of development in this area. Commitment on Splunk, right?
It's able to be like upgraded. Is that what you're saying?
So they're thinking the same way you're thinking. What do people from an operational the key aha moment with ITSI is this. With traditional Splunk, you're looking for problems. With ITSI, they said we don't want to just show broken stuff. We want to show is the entire ecosystem healthy? In other words, they don't want to just see red; they want to see green. And it's kind of a different way of looking at your metrics. So I would. You're already looking at. You can find out. Just find the demo and take a look and go through it. One of the ones that Splunk provided. And if you want to go that route, let me know. It's a much longer road to getting to something that you guys would use. But once, because you have to commit to some infrastructure components in Splunk, you have to lay out. It's more of a generic way of doing it. We would do something very specific. So just take a look at it. I don't think it's the way you want to go, but I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention it. I probably wouldn't go the ITSI way, because it is more of a general thing, and you're not necessarily going to be doing it for everything in your operation. but maybe you are. Maybe that's where you're going. So think about it and let me know. But we can talk. Let's finish your slides. But yeah, check that out before you decide to execute on a conventional approach.
Okay. I mean, I like it. I don't know yeah, I think I just have to see a demo to get a good feel for it.
Well, you guys view the demo. Don't let your management view the demo, because if your management views the demo, they're just going to say, let's buy it.
Yeah.
And, you drive it from engineering, right? Because a lot of executives say, I love it, like we can do this and that, and then you don't end up using everything necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this big expectation you can run everything this way, and you guys decide.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to get a quote from you first before we even look at that. Because I don't know, if we do look at it and we like it, then we'd want to compare pricing and stuff.
Yep.
But I mean, other than what I showed you, that's pretty much all I have.
What's in the right corner there, the lower right corner? Did we talk about that?
So, they wanted an ability to have some type of Excel printout or something, maybe. Something can
They want an export of the raw data to a CSV? Okay, yeah, we can do that.
They want the PPM, the OA, which is operational availability, and the downtime reasons per minute, per hour, per day, per week, per month. That's what that is.
But that's not critical. That's a bonus, right? Like, we got to get the other stuff done, and if we can squeeze this into,
the PPM, OA, and downtime reason stuff is pretty critical, I think.
As an export, I'm saying.
The export. Yeah, no, not critical. Not critical.
This corner is referring to the export, right? So
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and they I don't know if there's a way to like store the history, because we're talking about having everything available for like the last month or whatever. But I don't know if there's a way to like be able to go back so you can see all of the months. We didn't really talk about that.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about ITSI too, is that they have a nice way of implementing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we can do that. So if you want to say, so you're envisioning it with very well. It's not that big a deal to give you two different views. One where it's implemented this way, and one where it's implemented more or less with a conventional Splunk time picker. Mm-hmm. So I'll implement it this way because sometimes you want to just make sure people are using it the way you'd like them to use it. But I'll also create one with a time picker, where instead of clicking weekly, daily, monthly, like you have there with the time picker, you can you select whatever you like from the time picker. If you want to see last month, you select last month, and
it'll display the OA as like the bar graph with the goal, and then they can click it and go in further.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only difference would be you have to make sure that your data is still there, right? I don't know what your retention is. I think the data is pretty small, so without much of a disk commitment, you can probably keep years worth of data. But I don't know what you guys have configured. So,
yeah, I think right now it's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just need to keep the purpose of it all in mind. So, like, the supervisors want to be able to just glance and see in the moment how are their machines doing for that day.
Right.
And then they want to also be able to go back, and they want to, like, for today, they can click on something and see how things ran yesterday, and then do improvement projects based off of that. And then, like, the engineers, like myself, probably will want to be able to see monthly or yearly results so that we can have higher level projects based off of that. So the data should be used to frame projects, and we just want to be able to scope it in like in a moment, how's everything going, and then also can I look back and see trends? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfectly.
So as long as it serves that purpose, I mean, we don't really care like what it looks like necessarily.
Right. You're saying you're not absolutely committed to exactly this look and feel. Although
Exactly.
it is going to be pretty much this. I'm going to implement it just like. But if it was a little different for some reason, but it captured the same design elements, you wouldn't necessarily be upset. You might be pleased if there's a little bonus feature in there for you.
Yeah, pretty much. We just wanted to serve. We wanted to serve the purpose, so that it's just user friendly. It's easy for the operators to see where they're at a given day, and it's easy for them to go back a couple days to look at trends, and then for us to go look at longer term trends. Also, we just wanted to serve that ease of use purpose. We wanted to look slick and clean and just simple.
The nice thing about this is I've been in the data already, and I have a search that more or less gives me OA with some little nuances that Chris has already said are okay. And the stuff that isn't there, the job number and the work order number and the efficiency goal, I can just make those up.
Yeah.
For now. So I could actually I can't because I need at least a week to free myself up from another project, but I could begin this work right away. What would be your best desire for beginning work on this, or your best desire for getting it done? Do you have like, hey, this needs to be done by the end of the quarter, or like, what's your time frame on execution on this project?
If I talk to management, so that's the other funny thing is that I think that there's a pretty big desire for this, but they need to see a little bit to be able to commit. Like the
I
whole
have
way.
no problem. Listen, I can. This looks to me more or less like a week-long project for me, with checkpoint halfway through to make sure that most of it will be done in 3 or 4 days, and then you'll say, no, I need this change and this change. You'll have a dozen changes, and then take me a day or two to wrap that up. So we're not talking about like months of commitment here. We're talking about basically a week of developer time on my side.
Oh,
So
wow.
by the time I implemented something to see, we'd be like halfway done with what it takes. But I don't have a problem. If I get from you guys, and I trust both of you, to say, hey, if we had something that was more or less functional in a couple of days to show, understanding that the project's halfway over, we'll buy it, right? Because what I don't want to have happen is have you guys say, well, I built out something where you can see that there's a proof of concept here that proves that this can be done, and then you guys say, we'll take it from here, we're not going to pay you. Now, you guys wouldn't do that, right?
No, we don't even know how to.
I don't know what it would take to write a check from your company, right? Like, I'm perfectly willing to say, look, I'm just going to build this. I'm going to build it at least enough that you can see it more or less working with your key elements. And then I'll stop until you write a check, and that's your proof of concept. Say, hey, this is what he did in 2 days or 3 days, and he can bring it all the way to the end if we pay him for a week. Right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it going. So I would start and just build out a real rough proof of concept, and then just wait for you guys to sell it. Does that sound like a plan? And
yeah, so we could definitely do that. So you're saying a week long, is that 40 hours?
Yeah, yeah.
And then what's your rate? 200?
Yep.
I don't see that being an issue. So how about we do it? If you can do like the half a week or whatever, the 2 days, and we take something and we present it to the management and we say he can finish this for the 40 hours. Otherwise, we can pay you for the halfway or whatever that you did. I can talk to management about doing that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see it being 40 hours is pretty much right on the money. It might be a little more, it might be a little less, but that could be my fault, right? So if it's a little more, I just eat it. So if you want to run with 40 hours as the number, and maybe they say, that's so cheap, here's your check, right?
Yeah.
They say, I don't know, $200 an hour, that's a lot. How do we know who's going to do it? Then we'll start with initial build out of a POC. So we can just stick with that 40 hours number. If you need me to put you something in writing, I'll do it. But because we have the core search more or less built that drives this stuff, that's what's making it to be such a pretty short period of time to execute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty much just putting everything together for you at this point, right? Yeah. Okay. So what do you need from me then, right now?
I need you to tell me, do you want, first of all, that 40 hours, do you need that in writing, or you want to run with it? No big deal either way.
I know that when I've talked to my management, they said that they instead of it being one big like PO, they'd like it to be split up.
That doesn't really make sense for this because it's so small, right?
I know. Well, yeah.
So we can do the PO in one of two ways. We can say the job is 40 times 20, $8,000, or we can say the job is, and then you don't tell them the time frame. You say, hey, the job it's $8,000 to do the job, and they'll have a checkpoint a week into the project. Right, and they'll go, oh, okay, so a week into the project, we can kind of get a demo and see. They won't know that essentially it'll be done.
Yeah.
It's all in how you present it. But I'll leave that up to you, right? I mean, those are the numbers. If you want to basically draw up what my professional services agreement should say, contract terms wise, you just shoot that back to me, and I'll put it in my standard template with your wording, and I'll shoot it back to you. If you want to present it as an $8,000 project, if you want to present it as 40 hours at 200, if you want to present it, with where the checkpoint would be, like a week in, you would